Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I made a video, and I was originally wanting to do something a bit more entertaining, but unfortunately the news is kind of dominated with the Alec Baldwin stuff, and I really don't I don't feel comfortable getting into that one. So until something more entertaining pops up that I may consider, the next few videos are going to be a little bit different. But right now, we're going to, here we go over two articles. Both of them are on the same topic. One is from Post Millennial, the other is from Daily Mail. It's kind of an important topic, and I figure we can go over it. And as you can see from the title of this, Biden inflation, Thanksgiving meal set to be the most expensive on record. And I figure we can go over that a little bit. As Libby Emmons, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but I want to give you full credit on this. As you can tell, it starts off. It has become clear that the American Thanksgiving dinners will be incredibly more expensive than they were a year ago. After supply chain crunches and an undeniable increase in food costs, Americans are facing a huge increase in cost for their traditional Thanksgiving meals. And of course, they're posting from the New York Times reports that Thanksgiving 2021 could be the most expensive meal in the history of the holiday. And it talks about nearly every ingredient from turkey to the after dinner coffee is expected to cost more than ever. Talk about Norman Brown of Wada Farms in North Carolina said, "I don't know what the answer is, but in the end, it's all going to get passed on to the consumer." They're talking about that you have an increase in price of aluminum, turkey roasting pans, you have coffee, nearly everything else has increased as well in cost. But this year, turkeys are going to hit record highs according to the Times. Labor shortages, high gas prices, inflation, and even weather have a role to play in this disaster for American consumers. Meat prices are one of the biggest causes of increased costs in the grocery checkout lines, up by 10.5% from just a year ago. Of course, then you have what is funny about this. While all this is, this part isn't funny. By June, the inflation rate was the highest in nearly 13 years, and by October, it was reported that Americans are spending an additional $175 on basic cost in September. The White House addressed these concerns, focusing on the increase in the cost of meat. Mind you, these are the same people that, and you can tell they have a large set on them, a large set of bowling balls between their knees, planning a cookout this year. Catch up on the news. According to the Farm Bureau, the cost of a 4th of July barbecue is down from last year. It's a fact you must... I'm not even going to go with that. It's giving me a tumor. The cost, they were celebrating, saying the cost of a 4th of July cookout in 2021 is down 16 cents from last year. Whoopee! Yeah. While everything else is, the rest of your life, you're dealing with $175 more on basic necessities. $175 more. Oh, but that's 16 cents. Oh boy, that's something to celebrate. Good heavens, get your priorities right, please. It's like on Daily Mail. I'm getting this from here. You have time asking the question: is it time to pardon the Thanksgiving turkey? Talking about that because of the supply chain crisis, the increase in the price of the popular bird rocket by 27% in a year. With pumpkin pie, potatoes, and grapes also soaring. I mean, they're going over this, and it's like at least they give visual representation better. The the price of a 15-pound frozen turkey will cost $21.50 this year, up 27% from last year's price. So you have $16.95 last year, $21.50 this year. I know that to some people that may not seem like much, but that's a whole lot whenever you're living on a very tight budget. I mean, you get the list of things for Thanksgiving food prices year over year. Of course, we just mentioned the turkey. You got 1 pound of seedless grapes, $1.96 last year, $2.34 this year. Costco pumpkin pie, $5.99 last year, $6.99 this year. Don't know anything about Costco pumpkin pie, if they're any good or not. Please let me know if anybody watches this, if they've ever had one, if it's any good. 16-ounce container of orange juice was $2.26 last year. It's now $2.54 this year. You know, it's not just the Thanksgiving stuff that's going up. It's regular stuff like orange juice. 3-pound bag of russet potatoes was 99 cents last year to $1.12 this year. 2-pound bag of carrots. 2-pound bag of carrots, $1.16 last year, $1.71 this year. Loaf of white bread was $1.49 last year, $1.58 this year. Bottle of wine, they're talking about $12.37 last year, $13 this year. I mean, it's other things. Even let's say you ignore the prices, which you can't really do, but let's say you ignore the prices some. It's harder to find them. Fresh produce, meat, stuff like that's getting harder to come by. I mean, you have, unlike last year's Thanksgiving dinner expenses, which were down 4%, this year's feast will come at a higher price. And then it goes over what we were just talking about. The 2-pound bag of carrots rang up for $1.71 last week, up 47% from last year's $1.16. Notably, the crunchy veg dropped in price year over year when sold by the pound increments. A pound of green seedless grapes jumped 20% in price, costing $2.34 in October compared with $1.96 around this time last year, according to the USDA. And of course, you have where turkey farmers, talking about them, you had turkey farmers said earlier this month that the national labor shortage is impacting production, limiting capacity in processing and transport. I've been real worried about getting temporary help for the dressing season. Robert Kaufman, a turkey farmer in Waterman, Illinois, told WBBM-TV, he usually brings in about 100 temporary workers for Thanksgiving, but currently employed just 7 people. I can dress with a skeleton crew, but I don't like to. And I won't get the numbers I need. If I have a full dressing line, we can do maybe 2,500 birds a day. The pace I like to have, said Kaufman, who raises about 60,000 turkeys a year. And that's hitting everywhere on that one. And you have where they've talked about that they try to play off multiple factors for this, for the price increase. They're talking about strong demand with both domestically and abroad have been pulling up prices, particularly in the meat categories, he said. Well, yeah, there's a lot of demand because there's nothing on the shelves for it. And another problem is you have, for there not being anything on the shelves, you don't have the drivers to deliver the truck, to take the trucks to deliver the goods to the stores. Excuse me. If you and one of the things he talked about on the supply side, it becomes costlier to feed animals due to supply chain disruptions and more expensive to hire workers. He said, if you look at turkey, for example, feed has been more expensive. Was told DailyMail.com. Corn and soybean is more expensive than they were a year or so ago, and so is it's more costly to produce meat, and particularly in the meat sector, labor costs have increased. I mean, let's go down some, see if we can look at some prices. I mean, you have where worldwide food prices reached the highest levels in a decade last month, and experts have warned that price spikes of up to 16% in the U.S. could worsen, partly because of soaring energy costs. The United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization September Food Price Index, a measure of monthly changes in global food prices, reached 130 points, a level not seen since 2011. It represents a 32.8% increase from September 2020. And now beef prices have jumped 12.2%, joining other types of meats and becoming more costly. You have the one that makes me cry. The price of bacon has increased by 17%, according to U.S. Labor Department. You have meat, poultry, fish, and eggs sold at an 8% premium this year, with prices up to 15.7%, up 15.7% since August 2019. And what's worse is you have like the different stores, they don't make much off of this. I mean, you have, I'll say something, that's not to say other food products are immune from price jumps ahead of the holidays. A 16-ounce container of orange juice shot up from $2.26 last year to $2.54 last month, representing a 12% increase. Strawberries were nearly 10% pricier year over year last month, costing $2.45 per 12-ounce container compared to $2.23. The $2.23 cost the same time last year. Average loaf of bread cost $1.58 in September, up from $1.49 year over year. Pumpkin pie prices slightly decreased year over year, while general pumpkin prices are up 20% from $4.11 last year to today's $4.95 sticker price. Costco shoppers are also feeling the pinch and have noted that the wholesalers' famous 4-pound pumpkin pies have shot up $1 in price from last year's $5.99 to this year's $6.99. And Costco also raised price of its Thanksgiving in a box set to $120 this year, up 20% from last year's $90 price tag, even with its current $99 sale price. The Thanksgiving meal for 8 is notably higher than last year's cost. And of course, they bring up price of indulging in a glass or two of wine also comes at a higher price, with the latest statistics indicating an average bottle in September cost $13, up 5% from last year's $12.37 average. And of course, you have Nevertheless Lusk, the guy that was on the thing earlier, said there's no reason to panic. Food price inflation tends to make a lot of headlines, but it's nothing to freak out about. He said people will have food to buy for Thanksgiving. It may be a tad bit more expensive than last year, but I don't view this as some existential threat. Tell that to people that live on an extremely tight budget. Tell that to people that are barely making it as it is, that you're just going to have to deal with a bit less and get used to it because you just can't afford to as much as you could before because the prices are going through the roof. It's something to pay attention to in and depending on your income situation, may be something to be a little more prudent about this year. Now, this is a person who is, he doesn't have to worry about money. Just his way of looking at things shows that he doesn't have to worry about money. Everybody else does. But the big thing is, the whole time, and they're still touting they're still touting. Oh, we saved you 16 cents. 4th of July. Wow. Tell me, how's that working out for you? Look, I've probably ranted on too long about this, and I'm sorry about that. I thought this was an important topic to go over. I mean, and it's not just food. There's all sorts of other products, everything from construction materials, electronics, vehicles, clothing, um, standard necessities for life. The price of keeping your house warm or keeping your car running. It's all going up, and just let me know down below what you think about the situation. If you like the video or not. If you think I'm off the mark, let me know on that. If you have any topics you'd like me to go over, please suggest them. I'd be happy to look into them. Like I said at the beginning, this wasn't particularly a video I want to do. I want to do something more entertaining, but this stuff with Baldwin has kind of dominated the news, and I really don't want anything to do with that one. That seems like a whole area I just want to leave alone. But anyways, I do appreciate your time. I thank you very much for listening and watching. If you feel I earned it, please leave a like. If you really think I earned it, please subscribe. And I hope you have a pleasant evening, day, or whatever it is for you. And I will talk to you in the next video.